Amen. All right, we'll begin in 1 Samuel chapter 17. Just pick up one little thing here. And I want to say this for a reason. I'll probably repeat this a few times tonight. 1 Samuel chapter 17 and verse 29. David said, "What have I now done? Is there not a cause?" Is there not a cause? I'm going to bring that theme to you tonight. That's not my title. That's kind of a theme. In Exodus 23, if you want to turn to Exodus 23 real quick. I don't want to get too involved with this because I've got a ways to go here tonight. Exodus chapter 23. If you've been in the church for a while, you've heard me say this several times. Is there not a cause? Exodus 23 verse 29, "Will not drive them out from before thee 1 year,
Yes,
lest the land become desolate, and the beasts of the field multiply against thee. By little and little I will drive them out before thee, until thou art increased."
Amen.
And inherit the land.
Amen.
Until you are increased.
Yes, Lord.
Now, one of the things I want to say here tonight is that the land that God had given them, the promised land, in that land that God said, "I will give you this land," but the land that was given was not automatically theirs without a battle.
Yes.
There were ites,
Lots of ites.
enemies in that land. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so until you are increased, until you are enlarged, okay, there are going to be some territory. Well, let me use myself as an example. When I pastored out in the country, there were things that came against me I'd never dealt with before, and I felt like I didn't have the faith or the knowledge to overcome what was coming against me.
Yes, that's right.
But never forget Derek Prince saying, Romans 10:17, "Faith cometh by hearing, and by hearing by the word of God."
Yes.
And then he commented, and it always stuck in my spirit. He said, in other words, if you don't have it, you can get it.
Yes.
So to every man has been given a measure of faith.
Yes.
Okay, use that measure of faith to get more faith.
Yes, Lord.
Amen.
Okay, so there were areas of my life I didn't know how to deal with. I'd never dealt with something like that before. I didn't feel like I had the faith. I didn't feel like I had the knowledge, but I felt like I could get it.
Amen.
I believed I could get it. There will be some things in your life that it will be there until you are increased and enlarged.
True.
Yes.
Yes. Very true.
You can take it
Yes.
if you want it.
Yes.
If you're willing
Yeah.
Yes.
to pay the price, okay?
Yes.
Is there not a cause?
Pause.
Now, I would say this a few different ways. I was raised, I'm old enough and I was raised far enough out in the country. This may be hard for some of you to believe. The country school I went to was the last school in the conference to get a gymnasium. There was no gymnasium at our school till I was a freshman in high school. They actually played basketball outside and strung long strings of lights. Played basketball outside. Okay, so I was like real short. And I started on the basketball team from being a sophomore on. And I would receive some persecution. The more that persecuted against me, I got a ladder, went up a tree, nailed a basketball goal to the tree. The more that persecuted me, I came home, shovel snow off of the yard, and I would shoot basket after basket after basket
Amen.
after basket
Amen.
until I got increased, until I grew. So when I went back, the more they persecuted me, the more I practiced.
Amen.
Yeah.
Until you are increased.
Increase.
So if you just throw in the towel and quit because
Right.
One increase.
the first time you knock on the door, it spits on you.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to get there a little bit, okay? Until you are increased, I could drive, I could do it, but I'd rather you grow until you can do it.
Yes, Lord.
Yes.
So there'll be things in your life that at the beginning you can't do, but you
That's
can
true.
grow if
Yes, we need him.
And only if you're willing to pay the price.
Yes, Lord.
That's what it means back here in Revelation. Jesus said, buy me gold.
Yeah.
I mean, gold costs you something.
Yes.
Not necessarily money, time, energy, focus.
Yeah.
You have to give up some idle of taking up your time and energy and money.
Yeah.
You have to refocus.
Yes.
Come on, saints of God.
True.
Have to refocus for some things.
Yes.
I have a theme here tonight. Not my title, but my theme is the pathway to glory is one of increasing conflict. The pathway to glory is one of
Yes.
increasing
Amen.
glory. Joyce Meyer puts it this way: new level, new devil.
Yes.
You graduate second grade devils, you find third grade devils. You keep on
Yes.
climbing, you
Over here,
graduate
over
from the seventh grade, you find eighth grade devils.
Oh,
Come
yes.
on, saints of God.
Oh,
So
yes.
one of the things don't ever feel bad because you get an oppression, you get demonic satanic attacks. I got a football man here tonight. Now he'll be preach this. The center hikes the ball to the quarterback. The quarterback hands the ball off to the running back, and the running back starts to advance the ball forward. Now, does the other team split and say, I want you to go down? What do they try to do?
Try to get that ball.
They try to tackle him. They try to bring him down. They try to take the ball away.
Yeah.
Now, so when they tackle him, they bring him down, and things happen at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, they do.
In other words, here's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, they do.
After the game, that running back is sore.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very sore. Because he's constantly getting hit. So why are we surprised in the things of God that things come against us?
That's true.
Progress.
There are people playing professional football with broken bones. All kind of things going on within the body. Okay, the pathway to glory is one of increasing. So what the devil could care less if you come to church as long as you don't really get saved.
Right.
As long as you just tolerate a church that was never celebrated present, you never come into fullness. You start thinking the spirit realm when hell will come against you, I promise you.
Yes.
That's not a negative confession. That's a biblical principle.
Bring it
The
on.
pathway to glory is one of increasing.
Yes. We got increase.
So hell wants you to stop and become a spectator that you never become a participator. You get out of the boat, hell, a storm will come against you. Get back in that boat. Get back to your comfort zone. Settle down. Get back in your boat. You Pentecostal people, get your little storefront churches and don't come out of there.
Yeah.
That's true.
Now let me get to my first text. Turn to Judges,
Boy.
please.
In a boat of complacency. Boat of
Now I'm going to give you my title, and my title is two motivations to pray. Now there's many, there's thousands of motivations to pray.
Yes.
I'm just going to talk about two tonight. And I think there'll be some understanding that come of this. Two motivations to pray. There was a prophetic word Sunday morning about prayer. In Judges chapter 2, and we're going to begin at verse 11. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of God, and served Balaam. Now let me tell you, you're going to see Baal worship, and you're going to see Ashtaroth. This is my definition. I can go into great detail. To me, Baal worship is money first, and then the sexual realm, wherever you find, well, money first, and then Ashtaroth is sex first. Okay, wherever you find sexual perversion, they just go together. It's just twins. Let me put it that way. You're going to see this here. Okay, so they did evil in the sight of God, and they served Balaam, and they forsook God. They forsook the Lord God of their fathers. The word forsook means they left, they let go, they abandoned, they refused, they departed from God. They forsook the Lord God of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods, the God of the people that were round about them. So let's see now. Where are we now? See, it's just New Year's Eve, and so are people in the house of God, or are people in nightclubs or parties, and are they drinking? Are they drugging? Are they fornicating? Or are they worshiping God? Are they worshiping the true God? Or are they involved with false gods tonight?
Yeah.
False God.
A lot of them.
They forsook the Lord God of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, Egypt speaks of the world, represents bondage, okay? It's always referred to as the house of bondage. Okay, they brought them out of the land of Egypt and they followed other gods, the gods of the people that were around about them. The world is extremely, extremely influential.
Yeah.
Extremely influential. That if someone not raised in a godly home and in a godly spiritual church that can be so influenced by the things of the world,
Yes.
I was greatly, greatly influenced by the things of the world.
Me too.
My mom and dad loved me. My mama took me to church every Sunday to a 45-minute ritual that never even told me in 20 years you must be born again.
Me too.
But they had a meaningless ritual, and I was sure because I went to a meaningless ritual and tolerated a ritual that I was going to heaven. And so I was greatly influenced by the culture. Culture, I didn't change culture. Culture controlled me.
Oh yes.
I didn't change the world influenced me.
Oh yes.
Okay? So I began to serve the gods of the world because just about everybody I knew was serving the gods of the world.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay, they followed other gods, the gods of the people. Okay, so it takes a strong person to not follow the crowd, the multitude,
Yes.
but to follow God no matter what other people think, what they say, what they do.
Yes. Yes.
They followed the gods, plural, the people round about them, and bowed themselves unto them, and provoked God to anger. Why did it provoke God to anger? Because God loved them so much. God didn't want bad things to happen to them. God had brought them out and put them upon the solid rock, and they went back to the sinking sand. God had brought them out of the house of bondage, put them in the promised land, and they went right back into serving false gods and false idols.
Yes.
Okay, that provoked God to anger.
Yes. Lord.
And verse 13, and they forsook the Lord and they served Baal. This is where Baal and Ashtaroth. The Ashtaroth basically means the increase of the flock. There's sex devils here and there's money. Okay, so that's two ruling principalities over America. Okay, and the angel of God then was hot against Israel, and he delivered them into the hands of spoilers that spoiled them. Now, what we're going to see is two different prophetic pictures here. We're going to come at this from two totally different realms, okay? One of the things that I'm going to say is that you can get in the air, you can get in the sin, and God loves you so much, He will create circumstances to make you uncomfortable in your sin.
Yes. Thank
The
you.
revealing is His dealing. His dealing is not to keep you out. The dealing will bring you back in.
Yes.
Okay, so in His loving and His mercy,
Yes.
He still loves Israel, and He's going to bring them back. And so He began to create circumstances
Oh yes.
to bring them back in.
Thank you,
The
Lord.
purpose is restoration, resurrection,
Yes.
to be
Thank you,
restored back
Lord.
into the presence of God, to come back into the will of God.
Amen.
All that
Thank
God
God,
did
Lord.
to bring them out of Egypt.
Yes.
This is what there's a place in the Bible that says this that God said to Israel, you know me. 400 years you were in bondage, you were in slavery. I brought you out. 40 years in the wilderness, I got you to the promised land. You know who I am. You know what I've done. You know my power. And now you have forsaken me, the true God. The world does not know me. The world does not. You know me. You know what I've done. And people in the world are more dedicated to their false gods than you that know me and know what I've done. They're more dedicated to the false than you are the true. And you know who I am. You know I brought you out of Egypt, across the promised land, across the wilderness. I got you into the promised land, and you still walked away. You know who I am. You know what I can do. You know my great power.
Amen. Yeah.
And now the world who does not know me are more dedicated to the false God than you are to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Lord.
Now don't sling in the mud of Israel. Every nation upon the face of the earth done the same thing.
For sure.
Yes.
Come on, take it, Rob.
Yes.
Okay, we're
Right
gonna.
here.
I'm gonna give you two pictures here. A coin, you got two sides to it. Okay. We're gonna. My title tonight is two motivations to pray. They forsook God, served Baal and Ashtaroth. The anger of God was hot against Israel. He delivered them into the hand of the spoilers. The word spoilers mean the destroyers, plunder, it means to be robbed,
Right.
that spoiled them. And he sold them into the hands of their enemies round about, so that they could no longer stand before their enemy. Now, God had a purpose in that.
Yes.
The purpose was not that they would go to hell, but they would be restored,
Amen.
so that when they walked away from God, God did not give up upon them. He did not throw in the towel. He did not quit upon them. He said, all right, if you think your enemies are so love you and care for you so much, I'll just let them have their way with you for a while. Until,
Amen.
so he turned them over to the spoilers and began to spoil them. See, they thought we could sin and we could win. That's why dead phony religion exists.
Yes.
They try to tell people you can sin and win.
That's true, yeah.
Now I want to turn to Joshua,
God's word.
the one over there, Joshua chapter 7.
God said.
Okay, Joshua chapter 7, and in verse 10. Now remember that. Okay, they walked away from God. They forsook God. They were once in bondage. They were in Egypt. God brought them out. They got to the promised land. They got to the promised land. They walked away from the true God and began to serve false gods. So then they began he that sowed to the flesh shall the flesh reap corruption. But he that sowed to the Spirit shall the Spirit reap life and life everlasting. Now, okay, so consequently, they're turned over to the spoils, and their enemies then are coming against them. Now, there's a picture here. I love this set of scriptures in Joshua chapter 7, verse 10. And God said to Joshua, get thee up. Why therefore are you lying upon your face? Israel hath sinned. Israel hath sinned, so has America. So has every nation upon planet earth.
Yeah.
Israel hath sinned. They have also transgressed my covenant, which I commanded them. They have even taken of the accursed thing, and have stolen. They have disassembled also, and they put it even among their own stuff. I've made people take the tithe, they put it among their own stuff. They don't have faith. Okay, they put it among their own stuff. Verse 12, therefore the children of Israel could not stay before their enemy. What did it say back there in Judges? It said that they could no longer stay before their enemy. Sin will separate people from God. And they're convinced that they're winning, but in reality they're losing, because they have become carnally minded. To be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Now they're sinning, and they think they're winning. That's how powerful the influence, how deceitful sin can be. That's what it says in Hebrew, the deceitfulness of sin.
Sure.
Okay, so here they are now. So they walk away from the true God. They walk away from truth to a lie. They walk away from the one only true God to false gods. So in verse 12, therefore, the children of Israel could not stand before their enemy. Now, did God want Israel to win?
Yes.
Absolutely positive. Did God want you to win?
Yes.
Okay, who wants you to lose? The devil, okay? It all comes down to minding your will.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
We can choose you this day.
Who I will
Yes.
So,
serve.
see, that's why the whole world exists, to try to seduce, make sin look so, to lie to you, deceive you, to think that you could sin and you could win.
Yes.
Okay, so here it is in verse 12. The children of Israel could not stay before their enemy. How many know poverty is an enemy?
Oh, yes.
Sickness is an enemy.
Yes.
Anger is an enemy.
Yes.
Okay, but turned their backs before their enemies because they were cursed. Why were they cursed? They brought the accursed thing into their house.
Yes.
See, know ye not that you are the temple? If we allow things within our heart, within our mind, we entertain it within our hearts and within our mind, our thought life, our motive, if we allow it to be in our temple, in our house,
Yes.
if we allow the cursed thing to be within our house,
Yeah.
know ye not that you are the temple? But they turned their backs before their enemy because they were cursed. God said, neither will I be with you anymore except you destroy the accursed thing among you. I'll be with you, but not when you're serving false gods. Wait, I will allow circumstances and situation. Let me just put this in here, because I'm going to get to this before the night's over, just well, bring it from the beginning. That the mama eagle, when it's time for a little eaglet to fly, little by little will begin to make the nest uncomfortable.
Yep.
Now this Mommy eagle want to kill her little eaglet, or does she want the little eaglet to learn how to be an adult eaglet and learn how to fly
Yeah.
and learn how to win? All right. So little by little, begin to make the nest.
Uncomfortable.
Now, what's Mama Eagle's thought? Bad or good?
Good.
For the little eaglet or against the little eaglet?
For.
Okay, so she begins to make the nest uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Bring bring the eaglet up to the edge of the nest. If the little eaglet just still will, then Mommy will help the little eaglet get in the air for a little bit.
It's real high. It's real high.
That'd be scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever had God put you in circumstances? Well, I don't know. Have you ever had God put you in water and you don't know how to swim, but you have to figure this out pretty quick? Either you're going to swim or you're going to sink. And what you thought you could not do, you figured it out. Come on, saints of God. You figured it out. All kind of things. When I first started pastoring back in the 80s, I don't know how to. When that door opened up, I thought, God, you are crazy. What is wrong? God opened up the door. That's another story, but I'm not going to have the time to go there. But it says here now, who was Israel's problem? The devil, God, or themselves?
Themselves.
They made choices.
Yes, I did.
God said, I won't be with you while you're there.
Yeah.
I'll wait for you to come back here.
Yeah. You did.
Where you are, you're cursed.
Yes, I was.
Because you brought that curse of thinking to your house and to your temple. No, you know that you're the temple, and to your heart and your mind and your motives and your thought life, there's some accursed thing going on within you.
Yes, there was.
So now you're thinking death, you're speaking death, you're feeling death, and it's bothering you. And here I am alive,
Yeah.
and you're choosing to stay there.
It was not fun.
Come on, saints of God.
It was not a good place. I didn't like it.
I will not be with you anymore until you destroy the cursed thing from among you.
Thank God.
Verse 13. So Joshua go, okay, sing up, sanctify the people, and say, sanctify yourself. See, we have to be real careful when we got the answer for everybody except ourselves. What I have, I got to be working for me. How can I help someone else? If what I have is not working for me, how can I work for other people? So if I come tell you, you need to get right, you come think I need to get right, and no one gets right, it's just nothing but a religious game. Sanctify yourself. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Sometimes I got to get right.
Yes, I do.
Come on, saints of God.
Yeah.
So sometimes
I need to get rid.
God will make your nest just a little bit uncomfortable.
Oh, yes. I don't want to.
Sanctify the people, sanctify yourself for tomorrow, for thus saith the Lord God of Israel, there is an accursed thing in the midst of thee, O Israel. You cannot stand before your enemies until,
Oh, yes.
you cannot stand again before your enemies until,
Oh.
you cannot stand against your enemy. How long are we going to circle the same mountain?
Oh, that's a good question.
You cannot stand against your enemy until you take away the cursed thing from among you. What's going on in the arena of your thought life? What are you thinking of other people?
Yes,
Oh, Jesus. All right, good. Hey. Going up on the big screen.
Let's go back to Judges. Just want to illustrate that principle to you. Remember, my title is two motivations to pray.
Yes.
Is there not a cause?
Get right.
There is a principle tonight I'm going to share, and that is the principle, the pathway to glory is one of increasing conflict. There was some conflict back there in Joshua, the 7th chapter. There was some conflict.
Yes.
Okay.
Joshua.
Okay, here we are. We're back in Judges chapter 2. And go back to verse 14. The anger of God was hot against Israel, and he delivered to the hands of the spoilers that spoiled them. And they sold them into the hands of their enemies round about, so that they could not any longer stand before their enemy. See, if they're going to go in, remember now, Joshua's to go in and possess the land. Okay, so Moses brought them out, brought them to the Jordan River, and then Joshua bring them across, and God said to them, I have given you this land, but the land will not be possessed without a battle. In that land there's all kind of ites.
Oh, yes.
Now let's see now. Are there any alcoholics out there in the world?
Oh, yes.
Is there any crackheads?
Yes.
Is there any immoral people?
Yes.
Is there any violence out there? Is there any anger out there? Any selfishness out there? Any lying going on out there? Any false gods out there? Any pornography out there? Is there any gambling? Is there some ice out there?
Ice. Yes. Yikes.
Okay, so the land will not be possessed without a battle. The land that has been given, if I will put out a $5 bill and say, I'm going to give you this, you don't have to fight for that, I'm going to give it to you. But in this, and this principle right here, the pathway to glory is one of increase in conflict. Now let's see, we're going to look at how far will God's people, how far will they go when they cross over Jordan? Will they go all the way? Will they take every ite out? Will they defeat everything in the land? Or will they go so far and settle down and become comfortable?
Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And would God come and make their nest a little uncomfortable to get them to go
Yes.
further?
Amen.
Is it because God wants to destroy them, or He wants to restore? Does He want to destroy them or restore them?
Restore them.
Is God for them or against them? Okay. Does God want to help us
Yes.
or hinder us?
He
Okay.
wants to help.
Help
Right.
us all times.
Help come some more.
Okay. So they could no longer stand before their enemies. In the end of verse 14. Whithersoever they went out of the land, the Lord was against them for evil. Now, you're better than for every person upon planet Earth be your enemy than God be your enemy.
Amen.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
God's against them. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, how are they going to win? They're convinced they're winning because their idol is their own way, their own will.
Yeah.
They are serving false gods, and they love their false gods, and they're convinced the deceitfulness of sin. You hear me say this so often, but it bears repeating right now. John 3:19, this is the condemnation. Light has come into the world, but men love darkness. They love darkness. They will not come to light, lest their evil deed be exposed.
Yes.
That's why they don't come to church.
Yes, Lord.
That's why they're not right with God. You're not the problem. I'm not the problem. And the devil's not the problem. They love darkness. That's the problem. Come on, saints of God.
True.
Yes.
All right. So therefore, God's against them, so that they don't go to hell.
Amen. Yeah. I get their
Yes.
Yeah.
He puts roadblock after roadblock after roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. I'm trying to stop you.
Oh,
If someone driving down the highway and not knowing where it's going, it leads to the Grand Canyon, and there's about 47 roadblocks, and you drive through every one of them. The problem is not God. The problem is not the devil. There's roadblock. Stop.
Yeah.
yes.
You keep driving, it leads to the Grand Canyon. Stop.
Man.
See, we got to stop saying, well, they told me to stop. They put me in no condemnation. They're trying to save us.
Yes.
They're trying to heal it, trying to deliver it. So God is working against them. Well,
Yes. Try to bring them in.
I'm sure that it's never happened to any of you, but it's happened to me.
Me too, I'm sure.
God is working against me.
Yes.
You know the Bible says about Moses. Moses.
No.
Maybe we'll show those two-word prayer meetings here a little bit.
It's in there too.
Okay.
God has said this about Moses, and I really understand it. Said the anger of God kindled.
Yeah.
The anger of God kindled against Moses.
Yeah.
I am telling you, I've heard the snap, the crackle, and the pop.
Yeah.
I'm sure none of you have ever been a stubborn, self-willed, independent spirit as I am. God said, do ABC, and I go, God, you're crazy. Hey, well, let's do X, Y, Z. I know more than you. All-knowing God,
Right.
creator of the universe.
Very good.
And
I have heard the snap, crackle, and the pop. and I was convinced I was winning. But in reality, have you ever found God working against you?
Yes.
And I was so whacked out, God's working against me, and I'm binding the devil, thinking I'm so spiritual.
Oh boy.
I'm preaching better
Oh,
sometimes.
that's real.
That's true.
Oh boy.
Let me just give you so that you understand kind of where we're going here. As you grow in God, there'll be a discernment. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the answer to everything I'm going to say tonight, right now. The answer is this the devil? Is it the devil? Do I bind the devil? Or is this God working against me? Is this the devil or is this God? Well, either or, just obey God. Bind the devil and obey God.
Amen.
Amen.
Don't spend 37 years trying to figure out, is this the devil or is this God? Bind the devil. Confess, repent of everything. Search your own heart. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Sanctify yourself and seek God. Everything He tells you to do. Whatever He tells you to do, do it.
Amen.
Don't spend 37 years trying, is this the devil or is this God? Is this the devil or is this God? Hey, double-minded man, it's unstable.
Yes. Yes.
Seek not that man shall obtain anything from God. It's not that complicated.
That's
I'm
true.
going to give you two
That's true.
motivations to praying.
Yes.
In a little bit, you're going to see God working against them. They're going to figure something out that's going to take them a while.
Yeah.
How long?
All right?
Yes, it does.
Wow.
The hand of God was against them for evil, as that word there, evil, means trouble, adversity, distress, affliction, calamity, misery. Have you ever made some decision, the next thing you know, you are miserable?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good thing it was.
Yes.
Sometimes it's not binding the devil not going to get you out of there.
Yeah.
We made some wicked, sinful, dark choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were some rebellion against God, rebellion against authority. We touched His anointing. We're doing His prophets harm. The problem not the devil. The problem me sometimes.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
So I find myself in calamity,
Yes.
and I'm miserable. The being miserable is to try to. After a few years, I'll be able to figure out this is not working. I'm miserable.
Yeah. Hopefully it won't be sooner or later. That's true.
My angelic little daughter, there'll be a fruitful tree. I'm gonna get a little barren tree for over here. So we're gonna get back to that. All right. God was working against them for adversity, calamity, as the Lord had said, and as the Lord had sworn unto them, that they were greatly distressed. They were greatly distressed. In other words, they were under pressure. They were distressed, they were vexed, and they're under a whole lot of pressure.
Yes.
There's a great big difference between operating on self-power and God's power.
Oh, yes. Thank God. Yes.
Serving the devil who's a liar and Jesus who is truth.
Yes.
There's a great big difference.
Big difference.
So I
Thank
find
God.
myself in a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I find myself vexed. All this going on, verse 16, nevertheless, God raised up judges. God raised up judges. Let me define judges for you in the Hebrew. It means God raised up deliverers.
Amen.
Let me just inject this in here. That God raised up deliverers, right? Okay. We got some food for you afterwards, and Pastor Bill was mindful to remember to get some regular chips.
Yes.
Tasty.
Because there was a threat of terrorism that came. So I'm going to walk through the church, I'm going to cast out too much hot sauce, hot chips, hot crackers,
That's hard to come out.
even hot popcorn. I'm going to walk through the church, I'm going to cast out all these hot soft devils. Pastor Brian, you're a deliverance minister. Have you ever heard of a demon like that? You've heard of them before? God raised up judges, deliverers. So you'll be safe tonight. You have to, Pastor Bill, protect you from the threat You sit down, eat some hot chips, and someone come and get out. I can't do that. So I got some regular chips.
Amen.
Just plain.
Okay.
You want the bar.
Nevertheless, God, with all this going on, all the falsehood that happened, all that God went through 400 years of preparation to prepare people that would not bother need to the people that would be strong. 40 years into be led by the cloud of day, the fire by day, 10 plagues he brought them out by his great hand, by God's great power. He raised up a deliverer with a burning bush experience, put the Goyim in it, and he brought them to the promised land. They got to the promised land, they polluted, contaminated.
Oh, Lord.
So when they got to the promised land,
Wow.
remember the ice in the land?
Oh, yes.
Did they affect the land or did the land affect them?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a place in God. See what we gotta, oh,
Yeah, take that land.
I thought I'd go there yet or not. Get a swig of water here.
Biggest one.
Let me just, we pick up religious things in church. They put me into condemnation down there.
Okay.
Well, they spoke words of death to me. They vomited out words of death to me. Is the words of death from the unbeliever more powerful than us speaking life to them?
Amen. Right.
Are their words of death negatively affected me, or am I speaking words that are spirit and words that are life? Am I prophesying to the dry bones affecting them, or are they affecting me?
Amen. Yes, Lord.
Lord, yeah. And they get upset.
So God, then, here they get to the promised land, and that they were supposed to take the whole land, but they became comfortable. They began to settle down. They went so far.
More land.
Let me give an illustration. This came to me today. I didn't write it down. I don't preach my notes, but 1981, I went off to Bible college, and I've been working for a Teen Challenge, and we were going out in the streets back in those days. The skyscrapers downtown, Macy's was downtown, the John stores was downtown. You go downtown during the day, especially during lunch hour, there'd be thousands of people out in the street, thousands. We'd go down there street witnessing. I'm a brand new believer. That's how I cut my teeth. We were like, the center was at 39th and Main. There was a gay bathhouse there. There was prostitution upon the street. There was a adult bookstore. There was a lesbian bookstore. I mean, there was like I can't remember if it was the Denny's or Sambo's, and Speed Freaks. There was Sambo's. I thought it was the Sambo. There was a Speed Freaks to go in there and be there, and all night long there'd be people passed out. I found a man in the alley in the hedge. I picked him up, put him on my shoulders, carried him to the Teen Challenge Center. He had snorted so much glue, he burned up so many brain cells he would do in his britches. We put him in the shower, washed him up, put him in bed, and nurtured him, and came through the salvation. So I cut my teeth. That's as a new believer. That's how I cut my teeth as a brand new believer. I'd only been saved 2 or 3 months, and I was in full-time ministry. So I'll go off to Christ for the Nations, and so for part of their to have credit, you had to sign up for ministry, and they give you 1 hour credit. So I knew for sure God wanted me in street ministry. I heard this still small voice. God had the nerve to think he knew more than me. God says, I want you to sign up for prayer. I go, no, what keeps me alive in the street? But I said, man, I need an outlet. I want you to sign up for prayer. So I signed up for street ministry. self-will, self-idolatry, independent spirit, stubborn, self-stills God, convinced I'm winning. 2, 3, 4 weeks go by, and I've been going out on the street with us. They had a great big green full school bus. And there was a section, in Dallas, there was a section where this all homosexuals and lesbians. They had their own little section of town. So they drive the bus up there, we're street witnessing, different things are happening. So at Christ Foundation, they had like a time clock, a time sheet, just like a job. And that's how you punch your time, a little piece of cardboard in there, you punch it in there, put the time in, time out. So I go to time out after chapel one day, and there's a note on there, you need to go to the office. I go to the office, and the office says to me, how come you've not been going to your ministry class? So I've been going to my ministry class, I've been going street witnessing. I can tell you where they're going, I can tell you different people, I can tell you things that happen out there. And they said, no, you didn't sign up for a street ministry, you signed up for prayer.
That's great.
I said, no, I signed up for street ministry. And they showed me the thing. God's will was still done.
That's amazing.
I looked at that thing, I'm like, I was shocked.
I
was shocked.
So awesome.
What?
It is so good.
Yeah.
My thought was, I know how to pray.
Oh, it's so
I know how to bless the food.
Uh-oh.
I've never been around real people
Yeah, they're really great.
Yeah.
Wow.
that had the spirit of prayer.
Right.
I
No, there
know,
was such
I know how to say thanks for my food. I had no prayer life. So I walk in this wind out of my sails. I walk into prayer class. I'm sitting there disappointed. I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be boring. This woman opens up her mouth and I hear God. I'm going like, what? This woman would spend, there would be multiple times she would be up all night long praying and interceding. I'm going, oh my God. So then she would teach this class, and then you signed up to go to a certain prayer meeting. I went to the World Prayer Meeting. We'd stand in a circle. You know, some may not understand this, but there was anywhere from 6 of us to maybe 14 of us stand in this circle. We would sing a few songs, some of the most powerful songs. There was no musicians. We'd stand in this circle, and we would praise, and then we would begin to pray. All of a sudden, I began to realize I feel like I'm in Hong Kong.
Wow.
I don't know what to do. And the Spirit of God was so strong upon me, all I could do was go over and confess and repent. Now, I'm in Bible. I'm not drinking, I'm not drugging, I'm not fornicating, I'm not lying, I'm not cheating, I'm not stealing. It was a realm. All I could do, day after day, week after week, weeks began to go by, and all I could do was confess and repent. Then I would come, I'd stand in the circle, I could stand there for a while with them. I'd confess and repent some more, I'd come back, and every now and then I'd get to peep out a little bitty prayer. I'd peep out just a little prayer. Then I'd peep out another one. Then I began to be able to stand there and flow with them. I began to develop the spirit of prayer. I had to contend.
Yeah.
There was a price for me to pay. I was willing to go from nothing, from zero. How far do you want to go in every area of the things of God?
Yeah.
1%? Matthew 13 says 30, 60, 100%. And develop, by the end of the first school year, I developed the spirit of prayer so strong that at the end of the first year, they asked me to be co-leader for the second year. The lady who taught prayer was, I had this, I won't go into the detail, but because I'm going somewhere else here. I had this out-of-the-body experience that you've heard me say, and I saw earth, and I had this prophecy that I would receive a revelation of the heart of God that would revolutionize my life, and I saw earth, and I had this experience of the heart of God towards the lost, and where the Spirit of God roared through me. And I went to the class, and that woman gets up, the woman that was teaching the class, she gets up in the pulpit, she says, there's two of you here that's had a supernatural visitation of God, and you need to get up and testify. That's how she walked with God. There are seers. There are prophetic intercessors. There are prophets. There are people that know God. This woman knew God. My life has changed. Well, one of the reasons I'm going with this is that I don't want to get too bogged down here, but I think this is important. That Antichrist for the Nations, it's a long story, but I got this career job with Aviall Aviation. Aviall Aviation would pay 100% of my college. Computers, jet mechanic, anything that had to do with their company, they would pay 100% of a 4-year degree. I thought, man, I'm set for life. And God began to deal with me. Well, actually, my first day at that company, there was a guard shack because it's just a small part of these large airplanes. Just a small part could cost $20,000 or $30,000. So they had a guard shack, and everybody went in and out. They checked your lunch bucket because you could just say that people would steal things and sell them $20,000 just a little part. So I remember the first day going to that company. I'm walking up to the guard shack, and I thought, no one will ever know. God, I got a career job. I'm set for life. No one will ever know I'm called. I heard a voice. No one will ever know. I walked into the guard shack, and my supervisor was waiting for me. He said, "Hello, preacher."
Wow.
That is awesome.
He had read my application.
That is so awesome.
God was saying, I'm going to give you this job because I know you're going to be willing to walk away from it.
Amen.
Yeah.
I'll make your nest uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I started a Bible class during lunch in the plant. Hundreds of people in the plant. I started once a week little Bible study during lunch, and God said to me, it began to dry up, and God said to me, I don't want you any longer to have this Bible study during lunch. I want you to get along with me and pray.
Amen.
They had a 15-minute break in the morning, a half-hour lunch, and a 15-minute break in the afternoon. God said, I want you to spend all of those in prayer. I asked the supervisor, can I sneak some food before lunch? He said, as long as you don't make a big scene of it, don't pull everything out, sit down and stop working. Keep on working it. So I'm working it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To shorten the story, within 2 months, me stopping that teaching and praying, within 2 months, I was pastoring that country church. A miracle of God.
Yeah.
The first day I went to pray, I found a little secret place where I have a habit of walking whenever I pray. My title tonight is 2 Motivations to Pray. The Spirit of God had said to me, pray. During the 15-minute break, the half-hour lunch, and the 15-minute break in the afternoon. The first day I went over there, I began to pray, and one of my persecutors, how we need persecutors.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
If you choose to persecute anyone, please choose me. Oh, I need enemies.
Yeah.
An enemy will motivate me more than a friend.
That's true.
My first day of praying, this guy yelled at me, they called me preacher. What do you think you're doing, preacher? I said, I'm praying for you. He left me alone. Now that's gonna fit in here a little bit. You're gonna see how that, okay? Nevertheless, verse 16, nevertheless, God raised up judges, deliverers, defenders, rulers, to vindicate, to pronounce sentence, or to litigate, which delivered out of the hand of them that spoiled them. God turned them over to the spoilers at the same time raising up judges to deliver them.
Yes.
So that when
Yeah.
the dealings of God
Yes.
made them uncomfortable enough
Yes. So awesome.
to come out of the bondage they thought was so good, come out of that quicksand,
Yes. He always provides
Sure.
deliverance.
Amen.
he's raised up deliverers
Yes,
before
he
they were
does. Amen.
willing to be delivered.
Yes.
Amen.
Oh, yes.
And yet they would not hearken, they would not listen, they would not obey, they would not consent, is what it means in the Hebrew. They would not regard, they would not pay attention, they would not hear intelligently the judge.
Wow.
You ever seen someone live in the feet and here's how to win, it's a biblical principle. It's truth. Is that your opinion?
Yeah.
It's God's truth. Guarantee you to win. Get out of my face.
They don't want it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sad.
They would not hearken to their judges, but they went a whoring.
Yeah.
Yes, Lord.
When I first got saved and I saw words like that in the Bible, I
I know. It's like-
was so whacked out.
Crazy.
I would laugh. I go like, God, you know stuff.
I know.
I go, God, you know stuff like that going on. You would use that word, God. It just. They went a whoring. I mean, to commit idolatry is a harlot. They went a whoring after other gods. They bowed themselves unto them, and they turned quickly out of the way.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, it's just boiled up within my spirit. I don't preach my notes.
Seen many turn quickly.
Recently, I was watching a video by T.D. Jakes. And T.D. Jakes was saying this. He was just preaching away. And he goes, he said, I used to every week I'd give opportunity for people to join the church. People join the church and we channel them into different training session and this and that, want to be in different areas of the developing. He said, I don't do it. Very rarely do I do it anymore. He said, because having people make a commitment to join the church means nothing to people in today's society.
Yeah.
They're here today, gone tomorrow.
Right.
He said, I don't any longer, very rare does he.
Praise
Yeah.
God.
Sad.
They quickly went out of the way.
Yeah. Boy, they sure do.
Join the church Sunday morning, go on Sunday night.
That is real.
That's quick.
That's true.
Very sad. Very true.
And on the way home send out evil texts about us. On the way home.
Oh, yes.
Oh, how we need enemies.
Yeah.
An enemy will motivate me more than a friend anytime.
Yes. Love.
If you wanna betray someone, please choose me.
Lord.
You wanna persecute someone, please come against me.
It does.
Because I've learned how to motivate
It
myself.
does.
Yes, Lord.
I learned in the 80s. In the beginning, it used to affect me. It says about one of these old-time ministers. In the beginning, the world affected him. In the end, he affected the world. In the beginning, I'd get offended, I'd get hurt, I'd get wounded. I'd love these people, and they left the church. Oh, I'd cry, I'd get down, but what did I do wrong? And the problem wasn't me.
Yeah.
No.
They didn't go to another church. They went back to the world.
Yes.
They fell away quickly.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Very.
Come on, saints of God.
Very quickly.
So if someone vomits out death upon you, are they more comfortable speaking words of death to you than we are speaking words of life to them?
Yeah, Lord.
I don't care what you think, what you say, what you do, say about me. Tell me I'm never going to win. Tell me I'm nothing but a failure. It would touch me.
Amen.
Amen.
Come on, I don't care what lie, what accusation, what you think about, what you won't be no virgin territory.
Yes. No, in Jesus'
It'd be
name.
real hard to find something new to say. I need an enemy.
Oh, yeah.
Amen.
It's a girl.
Just a strange
Yes.
illustration.
Yeah.
I don't know why this come to me in the last couple of days. This came to me tonight. I used to live as a Christian after I got saved, about 2 blocks from a YMCA that had a basketball court, and a jogging track. And I would play basketball with John Mayberry, who played first base for the Royals. Going way back, some of you never heard about him. He was a tremendous
Yes.
baseball player. And Eddie the Walk Walker, they called him the Walk.
Oh.
He played for, some of you have no idea about this, but it used to be the Kansas City Kings. You remember Kansas City Kings? They played, it was an NBA team that was here in Kansas City, played the Kemp Arena. And I played basketball with Eddie the Walk Walker. He was a guard for the Kansas City Kings. They became later, they're now the Sacramento Kings. I played basketball with him. I was in shape. My game was sharp. I mean, it was on. I'd play for hours and then jog a mile after I played for hours. I had gone back to being skinny again. So I went to if you want some real basketball, I mean, go to the inner city. I lived, worked, and went to church in the inner city. So I go to this game in the inner city, and I'm bringing the ball down. I'm point guard. There was a guy that was so quick. I came down 3 or 4 times in a row. He took the ball away from me. I'm saved now. I'm a Christian. This guy, I'm coming down, and this guy is taking the ball away from me, and they call it a turnover.
Yep.
He's taking the ball away from me. This guy was so quick. So God reveals to me, okay, this guy's a ball hawk. I'm bringing the ball down. So I am doing terrible. So the Holy Spirit says, okay, throw the ball to a ball player there. He'll go after the ball, and then I would run over here. They would throw the ball out to me, and I would shoot. I end up being one of the top scorers in the game.
Amen.
That's great.
That little bitty, an enemy, you need
That's right.
someone that's
Yes.
quicker.
Amen.
There was something I did not know how to do. Every time I brought the ball down, he was so quick, he was so fast, he took the ball away from me. It's embarrassing, isn't it? It's embarrassing.
Wow, yeah.
I did not know what to do.
That's awesome.
That little bitty illustration,
Yes.
you're going to be in circumstance,
Amen.
situation, you do not know what to do.
That's true.
But God is your Father,
Yes.
the Holy Spirit is your teacher, and Jesus is your Savior.
Yes.
Come on, saints of God.
Real life with a real God.
I gotta keep this going.
Amen.
Yes.
They went a whoring against other gods, they bound themselves unto them, they turned quickly out of the way, which their fathers had walked in, obeying the commandments of the Lord, but they did not do so. And when God raised up to them judges, the Lord was the judge and delivered them out of the hand of their enemies in all the days of the judge, for it repented the Lord, that because of the growing reason of them that oppressed them and vexed them. It came to pass when the judge was dead, that they returned and they corrupted themselves again. So God raised up a judge, and for a while,
Yes.
Good.
Oh, yeah. Amen.
see, there's something wrong with getting connected to people, ministers, judges, prophets, apostles, pastors, evangelists, teachers, and not be connected to God.
Yeah, there sure is.
Because when they kick the bucket,
Right.
what you gonna do now?
That's right.
But God's not gonna kick the bucket.
Amen. Amen.
Oh my God! Come on, saints of God!
That is very real.
Come on, saints of God!
Yes.
They could follow through someone else, but they couldn't get they didn't believe God for themselves. Come on, saints of God. That's what this is about. That you would know God for yourself. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. You got to learn how to pray. You got to learn how to read the Word. You got to learn how to pray. You got to learn how to pray. You got to learn how to worship. You need everybody needs a relationship with God.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Thank God for it. Amen. One-on-one.
Ways to go here.
Amen.
It's a wonderful life.
Let me.
Lord.
Verse 20, the anger of God was, I gotta move fast here because, and the anger of God was hot against Israel again, and he said, because the people have transgressed my covenant, which I commanded the fathers, and have not hearkened unto my voice, I will not henceforth drive out before them the nations which Joshua had left when he died. So there's ites in there. God says, I'm not going to drive them out.
You won't. We have to.
And through them, I will prove Israel
Yes.
who or what's in your life
We have to draw
Yes,
out.
Lord.
that God has not removed.
Yes.
What's in our nation? What's in our city? What's in our church? What's in our family? What's in our life? What's in our mind, our will, our emotion, our heart? What's in our thought? What's in our motives?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Now through them I may prove it, which means I will test, I will say, I will tempt, whether they would keep the way of the Lord to walk therein as their fathers did, keep it or not.
Yes, he does.
They're going to be,
He does too.
he will set before you death and life,
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
and watch what you choose.
That's true.
If we choose death, how do we think we're going to win?
Or not. Yes, it even tells us to choose life. Oh, Lord.
Therefore, verse 23, the Lord left those nations without driving them out hastily, neither delivered them to the land of Joshua. Chapter 3, now these are the nations which God left to prove Israel by them. So you want to be real careful
God leaves things.
painting a picture you're a victim of someone spoke death to me.
That's right.
Right. Yes.
Or not.
You got on your helmet of salvation, your
It's a test.
breastplate, and you got your shield on,
Yes.
and it's not going to get in.
That's right.
Yes, Lord.
If they feel comfortable speaking death to you, do we speak comfortable speaking life to them? Who has more, them or us?
Amen.
That's true.
Yes, Lord.
So the devil tells you a lie, tell yourself the truth.
That's right.
Amen.
I'm not the problem, you're the problem.
Amen. That's right.
Amen.
These are the nations God left to prove Israel, but many of Israel that had not known the wars of Canaan, only the generation of the children of Israel might know to teach them war.
Yes.
To teach them war? Why are we going through such adversity? Maybe it's because that God teach us war that no longer a demon the size of a net will cause them to become a serial killer. That no longer will fall on a church backslide and blame this demon the size of a net. God, you should have protected me. What?
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Blame.
That the children of Israel might know to teach them war, which means to engage an enemy.
Oh, yes.
You can't have my enemies, I need them.
Yes.
To
That's
teach them
real.
war, which means battle, that means to fight. At the least of such that before them knew nothing there, the five lords of the Philistines, and again verse 4, to prove them, to test them, the children of Israel, Dothan, the Canaanites, and all these different nights, and they all had meanings. And they begin to marry. They took their daughters to be their wives. They didn't want godly women.
Right.
They found lustful, sensual women, and they couldn't figure out. And they found sensual men, and then they became angry and they were unfaithful. Well,
Right.
Good stack, right?
Yeah.
you were unfaithful with them. They were unfaithful to you.
That's how they're going to be.
They took their daughters to be the wife. They gave their daughters to their sons and served their gods. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of God and forgot the Lord their God, served Balaam in the groves. Therefore the anger of God was hot against them and against Israel. He sold into the hand of... I'm not even going to begin to try to... Whoever. And his name means doubly wicked Shushan. Doubly wicked. This guy's not just wicked. He's doubly wicked.
That's
He wasn't just sensual. This guy was a sex pervert.
Right.
Come on, saints of God. He wasn't just wicked, he was doubly wicked.
yeah, they're around. It's terrible.
So, God turns him over to something, a spirit that's doubly wicked, the king of Mesopotamia, and the children of Israel served this wicked, doubly wicked God 8 years.
Yeah.
8 years. 8 years of slavery and bondage.
Man.
Come on, saints of God.
Yes, my God.
After 400 years of Egypt, got to the promised land, defiled, polluted, contaminated the promised land. Have you contaminated your mind?
Oh, yes. I've been there.
And the 8 years, verse 9, and when the children of Israel cried to God,
Yeah. Amen.
my title tonight is 2 motivations to pray.
Yes. Help.
What brought you to a place to cry to God after 8 years? How much trouble will we put ourselves through?
Boy, I tell you what. It's crazy.
Yes.
After 8 years, they cried to God, and God raises up a deliverer.
Yes.
All it took was one prayer. Come on, saints of God.
Yes.
2 motivations to pray.
Yes.
The first one is and went from wicked up to doubly wicked,
Yes.
and they put up with that bondage and slavery and poverty for 8 years, and then figured out, you know,
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not working.
Live like this anymore.
it's not working.
Amen.
What I have is not working for me.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think
Yes.
I'll pray.
I'll pray.
As soon as they prayed,
Yes.
as soon as they prayed,
Yes.
Yes.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yes. Thank God for it. Thank you.
It's not how you begin this journey. On this
Oh,
journey,
yes.
Satan wants to come. He wants us to make choices. We begin to settle down. We're losing and thinking we're winning. And in captivity and bondage, slavery and poverty, and misery. Come on, things of God.
Yes.
For 8 years, and they think, you know,
Yeah.
I think I'll pray. And as soon as they pray, God raises up a deliverer. The question, not can we be delivered? The question, how delivered do I want to be?
Yes. It's awesome. Amen.
See, many people, they go so far, and they settle down, I'm not going any further. Because they go any further, I got to deal with some of my stuff. And I'll come to church and I'll tell my children, deal with your stuff.
Right.
Obey mom and pop, but mom and pop not obey.
Yes, Lord.
God.
Yes. Help us, Lord.
So it had no anointing, had no authority.
Yeah.
After 8 years, when the children of Israel cried to God, God raised up a deliverer.
Yes.
That means someone to help, to rescue, to defend, to save them,
Amen.
to open up
God.
wide, to deliver the children of Israel, who delivered them, even though they're the son of Caleb's younger brother, and the Spirit of God came upon him, and there's another story in there I don't have time to go to. And the Spirit of God came upon him, and he judged Israel.
Wow.
And he went out to war, he had to fight within him.
Amen.
He had to fight within him.
Amen.
And he goes out and takes back territory.
Yes, I
He
did.
takes back territory.
Yes, I did.
Yes, Lord.
Woo. I'm gonna
Amen.
keep taking
Went
it.
out to war, and the war delivered the doubly wicked king of Mesopotamia into his hand, and he prevailed against the doubly wicked guy. In verse 11, the land had rest for 40 years.
Amen.
It was double wicked.
That's part one of my message. Part two we'll find in Matthew 26.
Yeah.
I love this. I love Joyce. Thank you, Jesus.
Just a couple things to review before we go to part two. Remember, David is without a cause. Okay, so everybody just need to evaluate what is the cause that motivates them.
Yes, God.
True.
And what you're going to see here, not everybody going to understand you,
For sure.
Yep.
because you got a different cause than other people.
That's right.
Yeah.
You hear what they don't hear, you see what they don't see, you feel
Yes.
what
Yes.
they don't feel. You're being moved by what they're not being moved by.
Yes.
Amen. Very true.
And they will persecute you, they will lie against you,
Yeah.
they come against you,
They
they will be
do.
an enemy against you. And I'm saying that will motivate you.
Yeah. To go on
Yes.
deeper with God.
Amen.
Yeah.
The pathway to glory is one of increasing conflict.
Yes, it is.
So you may go so far, I'm saved now, I'm baptized in the Holy Spirit, I can talk in tongues, I'll just be a spectator now. Oh,
Yeah,
Right.
you really think that. Way back. No.
Oh, yes.
Gonna go on.
Forgive me. Lord. Yep.
part two of the message. Matthew 26. Verse 14. Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went into the chief priest and said to them, "What will you give me, and I will betray him
There is a
to you?"
What do you give me? No, Lord. There is a way.
And they coveted with him for 30 pieces of silver. How much money does it take some people to betray Jesus?
Not much.
camping out with Jesus for 3 years, numbered among the disciples. How much money? What attractive person
Right.
would it take to? So he has become an evangelist. He's trying to find someone that will give him money. What will you give me to betray him? Because in his heart he's already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
Wow.
See, there's a thing I've learned to minister. I learned to keep that as you develop discernment, and I learned a lot through the years with Watch My Knee, bring the outward man calm, that you can communicate with the spirit man. Many times there'd be people that come, I want to join the church! And they'll be here for a while. Before they leave physically, many times their heart leaves.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when their heart leaves, they're still here physically, but I feel their heart's gone.
Yeah.
You can see that.
We just have
Yeah.
a key person here, and God spoke to me in a dream about the foundation, something about the foundation, and I knew it was a foundation the member would be leaving the church. And this person used to sit, I won't say exactly where, but then after the song service would go sit over there. Someone said, how come so-and-so sitting over there? I go, because they're getting ready to leave the church.
Yeah.
It's a prophetic picture.
It's true, yeah.
There would be people, they're still here physically, but their heart's gone,
Yes.
and you discern it. You feel it. They're here physically, but they're not.
Yeah, they're not.
His
Sure,
heart
but they're not.
is to betray Jesus,
Yeah.
who he camped out with for 3 years,
Yeah.
had fish sandwiches. I got this one. Fish sandwiches.
Yeah.
You're the first one I ever heard say that. I love that. I get these sight from these people.
Yes.
Had fish sandwiches. I'm going to betray him.
Right.
How dare you, Jesus, try to get me from hell to heaven? What will you give me to betray him? I'll give you 30 pieces of silver. And from that time, Judas sought an opportunity to betray him.
Yeah.
The word betray means to deliver over, to give up, to surrender to another, to yield him up. One little thing. I would rather have 30 pieces of silver than Jesus, my inheritance upon earth and my inheritance in heaven. I'd rather have 30 pieces of silver. How many people that we know that's given up their inheritance
Yeah. A lot.
to have more money or attractive lover?
Right.
Yeah. See how life go downhill.
Verse 20, we're going to skip to verse 20 in the same chapter. When evening was come, Jesus sat down with the 12, and they are eating. Jesus said, verily I say to you, that one of you shall betray me. Did Judas think he going to put one over God?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
There are going to be people that you're around, that you know, going to betray you.
Yes.
Jesus said, verily I say to you, that one of you shall betray me. And they were exceedingly sorrowful, and began everyone to say unto him, Lord, is it I? In today's church, we're sure we know who it is. It's my maids, my children, my mom, my dad, it's the dog, the cat, the parakeet. We're sure we evaluate everything and everyone except ourselves. They said, is it I?
Yeah. That's true.
So is my heart grown cold?
Right.
Would I rather have a little bit more money? Jesus answered and said, verse 23, he that dippeth his hand, the sop in the dish, that's the one that will betray me. Have you ever sat down to eat with someone knowing, while they're telling you I love you, you know that they're going to betray you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Chow them down.
Yeah.
You bought the food, you cooked the food.
Yeah, hard.
You know, we used to have soup a whole lot. We're going to have soup tonight. We used to have soup a lot. Sometimes quite a bit of people, and by the time you get to the soup, very little meat, very little vegetables left.
Yeah.
So I'm last in line, and the person next to last, just a few things floating around in there. The person real carefully skims every piece, make sure, I don't want any broth, give me every piece of chicken, every vegetable, I put it in their bowl, make sure that everything's out of there. There might have just been 2 carrots floating around.
Yeah.
Fill their bowl up and then hand me the ladle and say, I love you, Pastor Bill. I'm thinking, you don't love me as much as that chicken and vegetables. All you left for me is broth. You know that they will be.
Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah, it's very rough.
So I made plenty of sheep for tonight. In case you get behind that person.
Yeah.
I don't think they're here.
I need to get right.
Yes. Oh, Lord.
Verse 30.
Getting like cutting.
And when they sang a song, they went at the Mount
They
Olives.
haven't sang a song.
And they said to Jesus, then said Jesus said to them, all of you shall be offended because of me this night.
Wow.
Singing, praising, and Jesus tells them truth.
Yes, Lord.
That is.
All of you shall be offended. The word offended means stumble, to be enticed to sin, to apostasy or displeasure. I mean, you'll be tripped up. All of you, God said, shall be offended because of me this night, for it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. Verse 33, Peter said, oh, not me. Sister Salsa might.
Yeah.
I would never. But did he?
Yes.
That's the deceitfulness of sin. Peter answered, said to him that all men be offended because of me. I will never be offended. Verily I say to you that Jesus said, this night the cock shall crow, and you deny me 3 times. Peter said to him, though I will die with you, I will not deny thee. Likewise said all the disciples. Then come Jesus to them to a place called Gethsemane. Sit ye here while I go and pray yonder.
That's that.
My hours there were now at Gethsemane. And he took with him Peter and 2 sons of Zebedee, James and John, and began to be sorrowful, very heavy. And he said to them, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here, and watch and pray with me. And when the little father fell upon his face, oh, Father, be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done. Come back to the disciples, you heard a sound. Was it wailing, travailing, agonizing, groaning as it cannot be uttered, or...
I tell you. Oh, Lord.
My title tonight is 2 Motivations to Pray. Jesus' motivation in this story is very different than the first one. And he understands something that we all need to understand. Jesus could not see, his goal was the cross. Did he let other people not praying keep him from praying?
No.
Did he let Judas betraying him cause him to throw in the towel?
No.
No.
Did he allow all the disciples that forsook him, did he throw in the towel?
No.
Did he stop praying?
Nope.
Good question here now. Where's the multitude when it came to Gethsemane? Everybody getting healed, everybody getting delivered, free food for everybody. There's a crowd. The closer you get to Gethsemane,
Yes, Lord.
Yeah.
the further you go with God, the fewer people will go with you.
Yes.
But God will be with you.
Yes.
That's true. He will.
What I'm telling you, and you and I need to understand, that's why I'm saying, we need enemies. We need persecution. Everything, when you look at the book of Acts, when God really began to move, they even in the book of Acts, they begin to settle down. When they began to get persecuted, they were scattered, and everywhere they went, revival began to break out.
Wow. Yes. Wow.
God has a way of getting us out of our comfort
Yes,
zone.
Lord.
What happened in Judges, they settled down, they went so far and did not go any further. What happened in the book of Acts? They become comfortable.
Oh,
So when persecution came,
yes. Yes, Lord.
I got a sports person here, so he and I have church here a little bit. It's one thing to play ball against another team. There's enough there. It's another thing to play a rival. I mean a hardcore rivalry. In my little hometown, I played midget league, little league, pony league, coat league, American Legion, and then town team ball. When I became a full-grown adult, we played town team ball, and people would pay and come, and there'd be a few hundred people at our games. And there was 3 miles away, there was this little town. We hated them, and they hated us. There would be fights. They'd have to call the highway patrol. People would come out of the.
Yeah.
You had to understand.
Oh, yeah.
There would be fights out on the ball field. They'd get into the fight. They'd yell to the umpire. The team would be fighting. The crowd for us would say one thing. The crowd for them would say another thing. Next thing you know, you see a great big arm and next thing you know, there's a full-fledged fight. A whole bunch of people's in a fight, and people calling the police, and the highway patrol had to come to stop it. Multiple times. Come on, saints of God.
Wow.
Because we had a rivalry. We hated them.
Wow.
They hated us. I mean, it was war. I mean, we got psyched up.
Man.
Yeah.
We got to see our enemy as the devil himself, and he tried to seduce us. And what I'm telling you, Jesus needed a Judas to get to the cross. He needed somebody to betray him, to get him to his destiny. He never let anything keep him from his promise. He knew where he was going. He knew why he came.
Yes. Boy, that is real.
In the late 70s.
Yeah.
I had one letter right. The late 70s, I was in the church, about 500 people. So one day, they asked for Sunday school teachers for children. Oh man, that sounds great. I need to be doing something. They asked for Sunday school teachers. So I said, how do they? Say, well, if you go in and you're with this group and we have this little area back here, you go back here and you teach children, we'll give you a free cassette of the Sunday school class. Okay, I'll do that. I'll go back in there. So there's a whole bunch of kids in there. So then they divide everybody up. And I think I had second graders. So there's a church of 500 people. So my class was normally 1 or 2 kids. 1 or 2 kids. On Easter and Christmas, I had 4.
Busy.
At the crowd. I'm teaching this little class. And the Sunday school lesson was, why did Jesus come? And the little book, he had these little booklets, and the little booklet said he came to die. So, we have the Sunday school class, I go out in the main sanctuary, and the preacher gets up, he says to the congregation, right at the beginning of his message, why did Jesus come? He's waiting for an answer, I go, to die! He said that's exactly right!
That was good. That's
Praise
good.
God.
I love it.
Amen.
Now, I don't have time to go there, because that would be part 3, and we'd be here too long. Think of everything a resurrection. Think of everything that happened as a result of the resurrection. But let me get back in. Understand, there will be people that will eat with you, betray you.
Yes.
There will be persecution. There will be people that reject you.
Yes.
The more rejection and persecution comes against you, when you do it in a biblical manner, you just go further on with God.
Yes, yes.
You want.
That's true.
After I got saved and I began to grow. In the beginning, I was so insecure, so fear of rejection. But as I began to grow in God, and being a single man, I came to the place that I didn't need the female. If I was interested in a female, she was not interested in me. I didn't get rejection. I didn't get depression. I didn't withdraw.
Amen.
I didn't have suicidal thoughts. I said, God got someone for me.
Amen.
You're not interested? God has someone.
Amen.
Come on, say to him, God.
Right.
God got somebody.
Yes.
That what you're telling me, you're not God's will for me.
Amen.
That's
right.
Grow into that.
That's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
I wasn't there in the beginning.
Nope.
Come on, say to him,
That's
God.
how we
As you
start.
grow, how far do you want to go with
Go.
God? How much of God do you want? You want everything God has for you?
Yes.
I'm telling you that to get you to grow more, God will make your nest uncomfortable.
Oh, yes.
One day you'll feel something. What's that pain in my back?
Yeah.
Oh, I recognize that. That's a knife in my back. Been there before.
Yes.
Someone telling me with their mouth, I love you. I love you. At the same time, come on, saints of God.
Feel it even when we don't
Come on,
know.
saints of God.
Yes. Very true.
Did Jesus stop all the disciples forsook him?
No.
Come on, think about when he said when the whole bunch of people he said, unless you drink my blood, eat my flesh, you can't be my disciple, and the whole bunch of people left, and Jesus
Yes,
turned
that
to his
is
disciples and
right.
said, you gonna leave too?
Right.
Yeah.
See, I don't care. It doesn't matter who leaves you, who leaves the church, who does this, who does that. God will still be with you. It's not about ministry. It's not about people following you. It's about you following God. We've got to get what God has for us. It's not about what people think they do.
Doesn't
We
matter.
need some enemies.
Yes.
Amen. It's
Amen.
true.
You come to the place you will be able to protect yourself from a whole lot of hurt
Yes.
and boom.
You will.
That's true.
I know who's with me. I know to the degree that they're not with me.
Yes.
Or are they with me?
Yes.
I don't say anything.
Yeah. No.
Many times before they leave physically, their heart's gone.
Yes.
Come on, saints of God.
Yeah.
We need to grow in God. You just don't get surprised.
Yes.
Come on, saints.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guard your heart.
Amen. 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 Yes. Thank God.
Can you imagine camping out? Can you imagine camping out with Jesus for 3 years?
Be trained.
And Jesus saying, stay right here, I want you to pray.
Yeah.
So, are we surprised if we have trouble getting, well,
Getting.
does God have trouble getting me to pray?
Yeah. Yes, trouble you need to pray.
So are we surprised that other people, you can't get other people to, if Jesus could get people that kicked out with him for 3 years?
Yes.
Stay right, I want you to pray. I need you to pray. This is a very serious hour.
Yes,
Man, Lord.
it is.
Oh,
That's gross.
Come on, saints.
yes, recorded in heaven. Yeah. Oh, boy.
That is deceitfulness of sin.
Yes.
People making wrong choices. They're convinced they're winning. In reality, they're losing.
Oh,
Comes back and find them sleeping again.
oh yes.
Let's go to verse 47. Verse 45, then Jesus came to the disciples, said to them, sleep on now, take your rest, for the hour has come that the Son of Man is to be betrayed to the hands of sinners.
For all the people. Oh, God.
Verse 47, while he yet spoke, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came. Did Jesus know ahead of time who was going to betray him?
Yes.
He's eating,
Yeah,
they're chowing down.
he knew.
Is it I? It's the one that would dip the sop? Jesus knew exactly who it was.
Yeah.
Judas, one of the 12, came with him, and the great multitude with swords and staves from the chief priests and elders of the people. Now he that betrayed him gave him a sign, said, listen, whoever I kiss,
Yeah.
that's the one.
Yes, my God.
Have you ever been betrayed by someone that would kiss you?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I did. Yep. Brother.
Judas comes up and kisses Jesus on the cheek. Betrays the Son of Man with a kiss.
Yes, Lord.
Get this in your spirit. We're living in an hour that all that hell has
Yeah.
is trying to corrupt your identity, take the wind out of your sails, change you from being a participator to being a spectator, that you'll tolerate a church service but never celebrate the presence of God, never enter into the fullness. Satan could care less become the church along this road, full of apathy, bored, compromised, complacent, dead, decreasing, discouraged, empty, frustrated, unfulfilled, dissatisfied. He could care less. Everything that hell has, you're going to feel. How many just felt you could just feel stuff in the atmosphere?
Yes.
That's why I use Pastor Tony in this illustration. Football players, man, they're sore, man. I mean, they get tackled, they get hit, they get gouged, they get poked. Those things happen at the bottom of that pile. They'll try to poke in the eyes.
Yeah.
They'll try to poke you in other places. They'll hit you in the bottom of the pile because I think the referees can't see.
Right.
They're extremely sore. It takes about 3 or 4 days to allow this pain to come out of the body. See, well, what I'm saying is, if you begin to affect the spirit realm, hell's gonna come against you. You start becoming a bright light, hell's gonna try to put your light out.
Yes.
Hell could care less when you come to church as long as you're not alive in the spirit.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's very true.
You begin to affect the spirit realm, hell will come against you. What I'm saying is, out of weakness they were made strong.
Yes, Lord.
There's demonic satanic things that are happening.
Yes.
And I use these examples, two motivations to pray.
Yeah.
Jesus' motivation was for other people.
Right.
Yes,
Yes.
Lord.
Yeah.
Others.
The disciples that were not to their place, when it became dangerous to self, they fled, they forsook him. This is too costly, Jesus.
Deal with this.
He had told them ahead of time he would be going to the cross. He told them ahead of time he would be betrayed. This is too costly. This is too dangerous for self. I got to preserve myself. I'm not yet willing to die.
Whoever
But he'll get them to the place later on.
Amen.
He will get them to their
Yes.
place.
Yes,
Not
Lord.
by might, yeah.
Loose his soul life and I said.
Don't crucify me like Jesus crucified me upside down.
Yeah.
I'm not worthy.
Yeah. Amen.
See, we can really go into resurrection. I'm not going
Yes.
to take the time. Jesus betrayed with a kiss.
That's the soul life.
Many people betrayed. Sit down and eat with people that will betray him.
Yes,
That's going around and being unfaithful.
true.
What will you give me to betray him? What will you give me to betray my mate,
Right.
my family, my children? God, the church,
Yeah.
leadership.
Yeah.
But that's not
Test.
really, it's part of it, but there's an extremely important part the Holy Spirit just reminded me of. A lot of this is not betrayal, a lot of these things. See, here's, how many know the thief comes but to steal, kill, and destroy?
Yes.
Yes.
Here's how Satan steals. He'll come and he'll say something like, in the Garden of Eden, hath God said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Question.
The correct answer was, sure did. If you start carrying on conversations with the devil,
Yeah.
let me put it another way. If you start carrying on conversation with a snake,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
see, a lot of people going around, this person betrayed me. I was betrayed. I was lied about. I was falsely accused. Here's basically the bottom line. If you talk about someone constantly, someone betrayed me, the whole purpose, here's how Satan steals.
Yeah, you just talk.
He's trying to get you to betray you.
Wow. Yeah.
That's true, yes.
Satan could not defeat Adam and Eve without the cooperation of their will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he tries to get us to betray him
Yes.
Yeah.
because other people betrayed him.
Yeah.
And Jesus is the example.
Wow.
Two motivations to pray. First one, they got in the sin. Jesus is not in the sin. It's not because he's doing something wrong, it's because he's doing something right. Two motivations to pray. Remember I told you I was going to give you the answer to everything in the beginning? It's this. I'll say it again. We can question ourselves, is this the devil coming against me, or is God dealing with me? Bind and loose, obey God.
Yes.
Yes, Lord.
Obey whatever he tells you to do. Read the scriptures and obey everything.
Yeah.
Every done too.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And you come out of it.
Yes.
Bind the devil,
That's it.
resist the devil, and he'll.
Flee.
Really?
The question is, will he flee? The question, do we want him to?
Yeah.
Yeah, good question.
If you seek him, you find him.
Yes.
Yes.
If you want to know the truth, he'll give you the truth about.
Yes.
Me.
Yes,
Yeah.
Lord.
Yes, Lord.
The whole purpose, I mean, to me, this is so beautiful that the disciples forsook him. Someone who sat down to eat with him forsook him. They're going around, what will you give me to betray him? He was betrayed, but he never betrayed his calling.
Amen.
Amen.
I'm saying that hell is coming to try to take away your vision, your fight, trying to take the wind out of your sails. He's trying to get you offended.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Very much.
He's trying to get you to think bad thoughts towards other people.
Yeah.
That's a sure clue.
He's trying to discredit God, the church, leadership, and the people. Everything, everyone except yourself, so you bite forbidden fruit and blame it on someone else.
Right.
And in doing so, you will betray yourself and Satan's winning.
In the end.
Yeah. That's true.
You know,
So real.
just a little bit here. So I got to get to one other thing here. It says in verse 56, "This all done the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled. Then all the disciples forsook him. They departed from him and left him alone." Let me put this in here. It's extremely biblical to have corporate prayer meetings. The most important thing is your individual prayer life,
Yes.
your individual time with God. That's why God told me at Christ for Nations, sign up for prayer. And I'm so whacked out, I'm telling God, I know how to bless my food. They all forsook him, and they fled. It says, forsook, they mean they left him alone. Now, when Jesus got to the garden, crowds went down, correct? No multitude, no 70, no 12, you get the 3, and they went to sleep. What I'm saying is, what's coming against individuals right now, you and I are being tested. God is putting in a situation where we pass the test. You and I got to have enough. So what if someone vomits out anger? I'll vomit out words that are spirit and words that are life.
Amen.
So what if they vomit out death? I'll speak life.
Yes.
Yes.
So what if they reject me? I'm not rejecting myself.
Amen.
No, I'm not.
I don't need your approval anyway.
Amen.
Nope.
Yes.
Come on, saints.
Yes.
Amen.
All these things say what I'm telling you. That we are being put in circumstance and situation. You got to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
Yes.
Sanctify yourself for tomorrow.
Yes.
What is the cost of victory tomorrow? Today.
Yes.
How we spend today affects tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes, Lord.
You can really evaluate people. Okay, let me see. The future of a man is hidden in his daily routine.
Yes.
Want to know who someone will be in the future? Watch how they're spending their time in the now.
Yes, Lord.
Yes.
It's true.
Yeah.
The future of a man is hidden in his daily routine. How does he spend his time? How, where, when does he spend his time, his energy, and his money?
Yeah.
See, some people think, I'll tolerate a church service every now and then. I'll come a couple times a month. I'm a Christian. No prayer life, no Bible reading. Addicted to entertainment, recreation, fun. While planet Earth is going to hell.
Yes.
Well, that's going on in our nation. There are going to be people, different people are going to go to the different levels of Christianity.
Yes.
And some people are not going to be relate to your commitment. They don't see what you see.
Sure.
They don't hear who you're hearing. They don't feel what you feel. They're not being moved by the Spirit of God like you're being moved. Become very comfortable hearing and not
Yes,
doing.
Lord.
Verse 58, Peter followed him afar. Used to follow him close, now to follow him afar. Verse 65, then the high priest rent his clothes, accusing Jesus of speaking blasphemy, God's blaspheming himself.
Right.
What are people thinking, saying, and doing to you falsely? I'm saying it's preparation.
Yes, Lord.
Amen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether further need do we have a witness now? Behold, you've heard this blasphemy. What do you think? He answered, he said, he's guilty of death. Then they spit in the face of God. They spit in his face.
Yeah, they do.
Convinced they're winning. So if they spit in the, can you imagine spitting in the face of God? So if they spit in the face of God, what would they do to you and I?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
This is why hell didn't want you to read the Bible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
They spit in the face of God. They buffeted him. That means they hit him with clenched fist. In other words, they jacked his jaw.
Yeah.
Another smote him with the palms of their hands. That's when Peter, and then Peter weeps in chapter 27, about to come in for landing.
What you got? Get number 165 here.
Chapter 27. Let's pick up a couple things here. Verse 18, Jesus knew because of envy, which means jealousy and ill will, they had delivered him. There's going to be people jealous of your anointing.
Yes.
They want your gifting, they want your anointing, but they're not willing to pay the cost that you paid to get to where you're at.
Yes.
Can you imagine being Jesus standing in front of the people he's called to save? In verse 20, the chief priests and the elders persuaded the multitude that they would ask for Barabbas. They tell them, kill Jesus. So they bring Barabbas out and bring Jesus out. Say to the nation, he's called to save. Who do you want? Give us a murderer. Did Jesus throw in the towel? Did he quit?
No.
No.
Did he play the role of the victim?
No.
No.
Is there not a cause?
Yep.
Yep.
Is there not a cause?
Yes.
See, you why did I, as a little boy, raised I'm raised in a 3-block area, 1 block to the south, country school, 1 block to the north, my dad's country store, 1 block to the west, the ballpark. Why did I come home, change clothes real quick, go up to the ballpark, stay there, play ball, all the kids, we'd meet there, we'd play ball. Until everybody else went home, I'd talk one of them to come to my backyard and play wiffle ball with me. When that person went home, wouldn't play wiffle ball with me anymore, I went around the front of the house, there was a street light out there, I'd throw a rubber ball against the steps and it would bounce back to me on the sidewalk, and in my mind I'm playing shortstop or second base. I'm practicing being an infielder, and then I'd go underneath a street light with a board. I'd cut a board and made the hand like a baseball bat, and I would hit rocks, because the town I was raised in, we did not have a blacktop roads, it was gravel. Why did I do that? Because I wanted the end result. I had a goal being a professional baseball player.
Amen.
If you want the end result,
Yes.
you pay the price to get from here to there.
Yeah.
Yes.
If we tell football fans who get to Arrowhead Stadium at 7 o'clock in the morning so they can tailgate, they're there at 7 o'clock in the morning, they get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to get there by 7. The football game doesn't start till noon. The game lasts about 3 hours and 20 minutes, and then they have to fight the crowd to get home. When they get home, they watch the evening sports report. They watch the evening, the Sunday night football game. And if we, let's see, Pastor Jan, do we have any more room on Sunday morning for prayer, pre-service prayer?
Oh, yes.
Is there any more, Pastor Brian, is there any more room for Sunday school?
Oh, yes. Been to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, room. And if we're going to tell them, you need what we have, they may tell us what we really have.
It's true.
Yes.
And don't say to yourself, they're vomiting up death. They may be telling me the truth about me
That's true.
Yeah.
to wake me up.
Yes, Lord.
Yes, amen.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my God.
Oh, yes. Oh, it's.
I think I have one last scripture. Okay, here we are. Let's go to Matthew 27, verse 38. Then there were two thieves crucified with Jesus, one on the right hand, one on the left. And they that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads, saying, Thou that destroyest the temple and will rebuild it, you said you'd rebuild it in 3 days, save yourself. For some reason, I really love this scripture. Listen what they say to him now while being nailed to a cross. Why did he come? How close is he?
Very.
So they say to him, if you're the Son of God, come down. What?
Right.
Are you kidding me? All that I went through to get here?
Yeah.
All that I...
Coming down.
They never understood the process
Yes, Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they had come so far and settled down, they had become comfortable.
Yes, not coming down.
We know what you mean.
Amen, we're not stopping now.
That's a clue. Get
We're
ready.
not going back now.
Come on. What? Come down from here? All that I went through to get to the 39 stripes? Do you spit in my face? The beating I took, the rejection, the abandonment, I've been forsaken, I've been betrayed, and I'm this close to victory? Are you kidding me? You want me to come down? There are going to be people want you to backslide after
Oh,
you,
yes.
you come down. Are you kidding me?
Just get
We
comfortable.
come too far to,
Amen.
we come too far.
Amen.
We come too far. You kidding me? Come down from here.
Come down.
I have been crucified with Christ. Nevertheless I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. In the life I now live, in the flesh I live by the faith of the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. You want me to stop now? Are you kidding me? I've come too far. I'm saved now.
Yes.
Come on, give God a praise.